right now on 5 on your side at 10.
Strong to severe thunderstorms are possible tomorrow across the region. Tuesday is a weather first storm alert day as we track thunderstorm development.
Holy moly! A giant crater forms along an Illinois highway. Tonight, the growing concerns about coal mining in the community. A family trapped inside their wrecked car.
Car was so smashed up and they was just coming out screaming.
Tonight, we're hearing from the security guard who came to their rescue. Weather first tonight at 10. It's a very warm spring evening across the bi-state. The calm before the storms. Tomorrow will be a storm alert day. Good evening. I'm Mike Bush. Kelly Jackson has the night off. There are a few storms in the area tonight, but they're not severe. The possibility of severe weather is greater tomorrow afternoon and into the evening. Let's get straight over to Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell, who's tracking it all with the Weather First forecast.
Yeah, those storms this evening, Mike, while they did produce some small hail, they've generally fizzled out across the area. That's going to leave us settled for the rest of the overnight hours. But we are talking about a mild and muggy, especially for April kind of night. Dew point temperatures are back into the lower 60s right now. Our main storm threat is Tuesday from 2 until 10 o'clock. And severe thunderstorms are possible as we head into tomorrow afternoon. Here's the radar over the last 3 hours. You see those storms down to our south and southwest. Yes, Cedar Hill back to Dittmer over to Lonedale. You had some small hail, maybe even up to about nickel size in a couple of those cells, but they've weakened now. Warm fronts lifting to the north. The focus is out to our west tonight. Just starting to see some development into Kansas. It's a little later than what we were thinking for that development, which means tomorrow we may shift the timing just a little bit, but we don't think we're going to have an active morning for sure. Our storm alert time frame is really after lunchtime into the evening. So tomorrow morning's commute likely to be mainly cloudy. There might be a few spritzes or brief showers, but the main threat of any strong to severe thunderstorms will probably happen in the metro area from about 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. But not everybody's going to get severe weather tomorrow. What we all will see, gusty winds. They'll gust 35, maybe 40 miles per hour. That's outside and away from any thunderstorms. We'll track it out and time it out with Futurecast Mike in just a few minutes.
And it's easy to stay alert tomorrow. You can text the word weather to 314-425-5355 to get the latest Weather First forecast sent to your phone. We're following breaking news out of Farmington, Missouri. Police are looking for a 5-year-old boy who may be in the St. Louis area right now. Investigators say the child, Oliver Patrick Sower, was taken by 38-year-old Josh Sower from the St. Francis Medical Center against medical advice and without receiving treatment. He was driving a silver Chrysler Town & Country minivan and was last seen near Weber Road and Dana Avenue in South St. Louis County. The car has Missouri plates bearing RE5F3U. If you see them, you're asked to call police. Just minutes ago, we learned charges were filed for today's standoff at St. Charles City Hall. 42-year-old Terrence Mahone of O'Fallon, Missouri, is charged with the unlawful use of a weapon. Investigators say he was hiding in a woman's car in the lower level of the parking garage. When she screamed, he fired a shot. Mahone was eventually taken into custody. No one was physically hurt. Police say it all stemmed from a family disagreement. Tonight, a woman faces child endangerment charges accused of being passed out in the backseat of a car while her 8-year-old son drove down a downtown street the wrong way. A 3-year-old was also in the backseat. This happened early this morning in the area of 4th and Walnut, just a block away from Ballpark Village. 28-year-old Latanya Mays Gale is being held without bond at the St. Louis City Justice Center. Law enforcement sources tell 5 on Your Side she was drunk and allowed her son to drive. New tonight, a St. Louis security guard is telling us how she ran to help a family after a horrific 2-car crash in East St. Louis Saturday night. Our Robert Townsend spoke with the Good Samaritan just hours ago about the daring rescue. Robert.
Mike, Keosha Tillman has been a security guard for 8 years. She says when she saw children trapped in the crumpled car, she instantly sprung into action. A routine ride to take a friend home.
I have kids of my own. You know, as I'm sitting here talking to you, my heart is just pounding right now.
Suddenly took a heart-racing turn for Keosha Tillman.
We ran over debris and we realized that it was a car accident, a really bad car accident.
It happened on State Street in East St. Louis around midnight Saturday. Tillman says a woman in a black SUV told her a man sped down the street, hit the back of her car, and pushed her across a median to the opposite lanes.
The car was so smashed up and they was just coming out screaming. I just immediately hurried up and ran over to the kids to be able to help them out the car because they were falling out of the car.
She says 4 boys, approximately 12 to 16 years old, were sitting in the back seat. The driver, possibly their aunt, quickly got 2 of the kids out. Tillman helped the other boys get to a safe, grassy area.
They was complaining about their back hurt, so the first thing I knew was lay them on their side. Don't let them lay flat on their back. And one little child was said that he was really extremely cold, so we had blanket and wrapped a blanket around a kid.
Her friend called 911 and tried to redirect oncoming drivers.
It was just really, really, really sad moment.
Witnesses told police after the male driver collided with the family's car, the man tried to leave the scene but crashed into the Clyde C. Jordan Senior Citizen Center. Police and paramedics then showed up.
They surrounded the car. He was hurt.
The security guard turned Good Samaritan is relieved the family wasn't seriously hurt.
That's good that we got good people in the city still.
I feel really good about helping that family out.
Ricky Eastern says on Thursday he will ask his fellow East St. Louis Township Board members to consider honoring Tillman with a special award for helping those crash victims.
Tonight, an arrest warrant is out for a child use specialist accused of giving THC gummies to 2 teens at the St. Louis Juvenile Detention Center. Patrick Demetrius Harris faces several child endangerment charges. Both of the teens had to be hospitalized. A judge has awarded a former St. Louis police officer who was beaten by colleagues while working undercover more than $23 million. Luther Hall sued 3 of those officers for the 2017 beating during the Jason Stockley protests. The judge awarded the default judgment after Randy Hayes, who's serving prison time, did not respond. Hall previously settled a $5 million lawsuit with the city. Several pro-Palestinian protests were held across the country today, calling for the end to military action inside Gaza. One group shut down the Golden Gate Bridge in San Francisco. Another caused massive backups at Chicago's O'Hare Airport. Here in St. Charles, police arrested 8 people who protested outside the Boeing building. Tonight, the White House and the world are watching and waiting for Israel's next move after Iran's unprecedented attack this weekend. The U.S. joined Israel and other allies in successfully shooting down nearly all of the 300-plus missiles and drones that were launched. President Biden is seeking to stave off a wider regional conflict. Tonight, people here in the bi-state are grappling with the potential fallout. Our Annie Krall spoke with both Jewish and Iranian-American leaders. Annie?
Mike, it's just the latest chapter in the decades of tension between those 2 nations. But those with family on both sides tell me this weekend's attacks felt different.
The day before Iranian drone and missile attacks Saturday, Jewish Federation of St. Louis President Brian Herzig was grounded in Israel, his flight home delayed for several hours.
I was on WhatsApp with several friends, family, our guide that we had just left a couple of days before, kind of getting real-time updates on what was going on. And it was clear that people were prepared.
He spent almost a week across the country meeting with Israeli colleagues and families of those lost or still being held hostage in the war with Hamas.
I don't think that people there expected a direct attack from Iran, which it has not done since the Ayatollah took over in 1979, and not to that magnitude of 300 drones and 100 missiles. The sheer number really probably was striking.
Iranian leaders say as far as they're concerned, the matter is now over, calling its attacks retaliation for an Israeli airstrike on the Iranian embassy compound in Syria on April 1st, killing 2 generals and 5 officers. Some Iranian Americans calling this weekend's attacks
a childish thing that they just did just to show power or poke at Israel. That could be detrimental to the innocent people of Iran and everybody in that region.
Donia Ziraksari, an Iranian author, activist, and engineer, continues to combat the stigma between her home country and the Islamic Republic, which the U.S. State Department calls a dangerous anti-Western religious government.
In an Iranian, house, you immediately feel welcome, immediately feel wanted and loved. And cared for. So Iranian people, Persian people are absolutely not the same as the Islamic Republic.
Congresswoman Cori Bush condemned the attacks as well as calls for further retaliation. Senator Josh Hawley also reacting on social media with, quote, "Now more than ever, America must stand unequivocally with Israel." Mike?
Red light and speed cameras are returning to the streets of St. Louis, and that means drivers could soon start seeing tickets showing up in their mailbox. The Board of Aldermen approved the plan today to combat reckless driving. It comes in the wake of recent devastating high-speed crashes. The last time the city installed these cameras, courts struck them down as unconstitutional. City leaders say they expect another legal battle. Tonight, a giant sinkhole is blocking an Illinois highway. The large crater is located on Route 185 between Hillsborough and Coffeen, and experts say it's due to a coal mine. New tonight, 5 on your side's Laura Barczewski and photojournalist Jimmy Kruko give us a bird's eye view of the crater that's still growing.
If you're driving down Route 185 in Illinois, you might notice some detour signs near Hillsborough and Coffeen, and it's all because of this. The Illinois Department of Natural Resources says late last week, a reclaimed borehole shaft previously used by the Deer Run mine collapsed, creating a large sinkhole.
There's movement throughout, so, you know, each time you come out, you see that it might have gotten a little bit larger.
A volunteer who keeps an eye on coal mining issues at the Illinois Sierra Club says at one time those boreholes were used to control and monitor an underground fire in the coal mine.
At the beginning of this underground fire that was spreading, they couldn't control it. They used a lot of water, but then that wasn't working. So they used nitrogen to suffocate the mine. Well, they needed places to pump that in and get more concrete down below.
Because the mine subsidence is so close to the road, the Illinois Department of Transportation had to close off about 4 miles of Route 185.
As interesting as it may be, you know, we don't want to have an influx of people coming out looking at it because it is a serious situation.
The Montgomery County Emergency Management Agency escorted us out there safely so we could look at it for you. But it's nothing new for area farmers who've been dealing with mine subsidence issues for years.
Farmers say they've lost more topsoil due to longwall mining erosion in the last 4 years than in the decades of their family farm. And that is heartbreaking and wrong.
EMA Deputy Director Dan Huff says you can expect detours for the foreseeable future.
It's not going to be open until there's been a clean bill of health on this road.
Reporting in Montgomery County, Laura Barczewski, 5 on your side.
And 5 on your side reached out to the owners of the mine, Foresight Energy, and we have yet to hear back. Wiping the slate clean.
We have the potential to eliminate billions of dollars of debt.
Tonight, the push to help Illinois residents crippled by mounting medical bills. The total eclipse was a sight for sore eyes. Tonight, our Verify team focuses on an eye-popping TikTok about a long-term effect.
Tuesday afternoon into Tuesday evening. That's our time frame for dealing with the potential of intense thunderstorm. The trends we're seeing tonight as this system develops and how long any severe threats expected to last tomorrow.
Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker wants to spend $10 million in next year's state budget to wipe out $1 billion in medical debt for thousands of residents. Under the plan, the state would partner with the nonprofit Undo Medical Debt to purchase the medical debt of 340,000 people for pennies on the dollar. Pritzker says medical debt adversely affects both a person's physical and financial health.
Many people affected by medical debt end up completely foregoing medical care that they need while dealing with the burden of past unpaid health care bills.
The state legislature still needs to approve the budget. Last week, the state Senate passed a bill prohibiting credit rating agencies from using medical debt against your credit report. If you procrastinated, you now have less than 2 hours to file your 2023 tax returns with the IRS. They must be filed online by midnight or postmarked with today's date. You can file for a 6-month extension. However, if you owe, you must still make a payment by tonight's deadline to avoid penalties. If the IRS owes you, you have 3 years to file. It's been 1 week since the total solar eclipse. Since then, Google searches for hurt eyes have spiked. Doctors and NASA repeatedly warned the public about wearing necessary eye protection to avoid vision problems. Now, one viral TikTok post is claiming that pupil damage from the eclipse can last for years. Here's Ann Allred with tonight's Verify.
More than 1 million people have liked this post. The young woman's caption reads, "Staying inside for the eclipse today because I looked at the one 7 years ago for 10 seconds, and now my eyes look like this permanently." You can see her pupils are different sizes. Let's verify. Is it true your pupils can become different sizes from staring at the sun? Our sources, the American Academy of Ophthalmology and Dr. Mark Rallo, a pediatric optometrist at Washington University. The American Academy of Ophthalmology says 1 out of every 5 healthy people have slight differences in pupil sizes. But in this post, the pupils, which allow light to enter the eye, are dramatically different. Dr. Rallo examined the viral video and said this is a condition called anisocoria. The condition means your pupils are asymmetric. Anisocoria can be benign or indicate a serious medical condition like a brain or nerve disease. But our experts say staring at a solar eclipse does not make your pupils different sizes. We can verify this post is false. Pupils cannot become different sizes from staring at the sun. I'm Ann Allred, 5 on your side.
And Dr. Rallo says if you have eye damage from looking at the sun, you would know immediately or within the first few hours. What can Ann verify for you? You can email her. The address is verify@ksdk.com. We could be just days away from a cicada invasion. They're not supposed to arrive until May or June. Experts are now warning that the 13 and 17-year cicadas could emerge from underground by the end of the week. That's because the ground temperature is warmer than usual. It was warmer than usual outside yesterday and today. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell joined us now with the Weather First forecast, and that has the ingredients wrapping up for possible severe weather, right,
Sure
Scott?
does. As we head into tomorrow, you know, the humidity's been increasing. It was up to the south of St. Louis today. It's been creeping back into the metro area. We're looking out over Forest Park this evening. It's a quiet look this evening. We anticipate that changing, though, going into tomorrow. Greatest severe weather threat, a level 3 out of 5, is across northeast Missouri, west central Illinois, back up into Iowa for tomorrow into tomorrow evening. But all of the 5 on your side area is under this level 2 risk for tomorrow. Why? Well, you have a strong storm system that's coming out into the plains tonight, has strong winds with it, bringing in lots of moisture, not only for us, but back out to the west. And we're starting to see some thunderstorms now finally developing across parts of Kansas. They're running a bit behind what we were anticipating them to begin. As we go through the overnight, though, they'll ramp up. And this is all part of the larger system. This system sweeping into the bi-state area, bringing with it lots of energy, lots of gusty winds. That's outside and away from thunderstorms, and potentially some strong to severe thunderstorms. Now, as we go into tomorrow, we do anticipate being relatively tranquil through the morning hours into early afternoon. Most likely, we will see a fair amount of clouds with some breaks, upper 70s to lower 80s. Then as we head towards 2, 3, 4 o'clock, we're going to watch thunderstorms trying to creep in here from the west. They'll have some juice to work with for sure. Some of those storms may be strong to severe, potentially producing some large hail, might have some gusty winds. If we can get some of them to rotate, we might even see an isolated tornado. But again, the better threat for that on a more widespread basis is farther north and northwest of St. Louis. By the time we get to this point tomorrow evening, odds are things are starting to fade away. We do have that severe weather set up, though, for Tuesday. The ingredients all seem to be in place. All types of severe weather possible: hail, wind gusts, maybe an isolated tornado, mainly late afternoon into the early evening. We do think the greatest threats to the northwest of St. Louis. The question we're still trying to pinpoint at this juncture is how much of a threat do we have in the metro area? And that'll be an hour-by-hour case that we watch tomorrow with you when we're in a Weather First storm alert. 87 was our high today. It is still 80 degrees, Mike Bush. It is still 80 degrees at 10 o'clock on April 15th. Very warm, and the humidity levels are up. Your next 10 days feature temperatures that eventually cool off, but our storm alert will be for tomorrow, particularly after lunchtime, right about towards the evening rush hour is our greatest concern, we think.
And you'll be tracking it for us.
Absolutely.
All right,
Whole
Scott,
team's here.
Thanks. Frank is here with sports.
The city lost a great baseball legend. The Cardinals are trying to beat the A's. Josh Schertz got a player today, and tonight we're playing hit and run with Josh.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
When you're in last place and you're coming off a disappointing series against the Diamondbacks, this is the time where you need your ace to go out and dominate. Sonny Gray got the ball in Oakland. Jackie Robinson Day in Major League Baseball. Ricky Henderson in the stands tonight. Nolan Arenado would like to join him in the Hall of Fame one day, but first he'll deliver the base hit to left, which scores Paul Goldschmidt 1-0 Cardinals. And Sonny looked really good. In the second inning, he gets the strikeout. He'll pick up another one in the 6th inning. 6 scoreless innings, 6 Ks. Cardinals lead it 3-0 right now in the 7th inning. Ken Holtzman was a marvelous pitcher for those Oakland A's. He passed away today at age 78, 174 wins, 4 World Series titles, and 2 no-hitters for the pride of U-City, one of the best to ever come out of St. Louis.
With the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft, the Indiana Fever select Caitlin Clark, University of Iowa.
So the all-time leading scorer in college basketball will try to do for the WNBA what she just did for the collegiate game. Could she do for the WNBA what Tiger did for the PGA?
Aces select Kate Martin.
How about this? Kate Martin, her teammate from Edwardsville, was picked in the 2nd round by the Las Vegas Aces, the 18th pick overall. 2 of Josh Schertz's Indiana State players have signed big deals with the University of Texas. SLU still looks good to bring star players Robbie Avila and Isaiah Swopes from Terre Haute. But today they did get a commitment from Max Picard from a prep school in Kansas. He's 6'11" with great range. SLU believes with some weight gain, he will be a very productive player. And to be great right away, though, in college basketball, you need to pluck 22-year-olds out of the portal with 6-figure deals. Recruiting is a little different now.
It's changed tremendously. It used to be all about relationships. It used to be all about stability and building your program over the next 3 or 4 years. Now it's much more transactional. It's about money, it's about dollars, but it's still, any great coach still has to love on their student athletes.
On Mondays, we often play hit and run with celebrities. This year, everybody from Bob Costas to Bill Walton to Terry Bradshaw. It's rapid fire Q&A with no hedging allowed. Tonight, the new SLU coach, Josh Schertz, is our guest. Basketball hero growing up.
To Michael Jordan, John Starks, who were rivals, but I love Michael Jordan, but John Starks and Knicks my favorite players, so I got to go with Starks.
Coach you admire the most, either past or present?
Probably past would be John Wooden, Dean Smith, present. Eric Spoelstra with the Heat's probably my favorite.
Most points you've ever scored in one of your basketball games?
I scored 54, but it was in a Jewish community center game, so I'm not sure that really counts. But
your wife's basketball knowledge on a 1 to 10?
I give her like a 4. I give her a 4. 10 for 10 on emotional intelligence, 4 for 10 on basketball intelligence.
What's a perfect date night with you and your bride?
Probably either great Italian or great sushi, and then just going and probably catching a great movie, doing something where we just completely get out of the world and just decompress. But great food, wine, and then a great movie.
Best thing you've done in St. Louis so far in your 4 or 5 days here? What's the most enjoyable thing?
I think probably throwing that 98-mile-an-hour strike. I'm not sure it was 98, but I believe the radar, my internal radar, and then you catching for me to warm me up, to get me loose so I could be ready to throw that pitch. That was probably the highlight so far. The whole Cardinal experience was awesome.
Your son Jaden plays on the team. Do you allow him to give you a hard time in front of your players at practice?
Yeah, as long as I give it back. I can always take it, but I got to be able to dish it out as well. So yeah, he'll give me a hard time about a variety of things, but I can always come back at him, and mainly just about the fact he hasn't scored a point yet. And so, you know, he's got to score before he can talk trash to me.
Now wait till he scores his first bucket. He'll be talking a lot of trash today.
I'm not sure that was 98 miles an hour. Maybe a little less.
I warmed him up at SLU that day, though. He was throwing it, and nobody was catching. Nobody had a glove. So I got a bullpen coach to give me his glove, and I warmed him up for a little bit.
You got him ready for that strike?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't hit the ground.
Frank, thanks. Getting your kicks on Route 66. The nostalgic sign now lighting up the historic highway in St. Louis. A drive down Watson Road in Sunset Hills is now like driving back in time. The historic Park Plaza Courts Motel sign was relit over the weekend. The neon lights now shine brightly in front of the Holiday Inn Express at Watson and Lindbergh. That's near the original location of the iconic motel on the old Route 66. And Scott has a final check of tomorrow's threat of storms.
Yeah, we do have that threat tomorrow afternoon of some strong to severe thunderstorms in the metro area. For Metro St. Louis, probably thinking here about 3, 4, 5, 6 o'clock, and then it's pressing away tomorrow evening. But we'll keep track of it all day tomorrow.
There you have it. 5 on your side at 10. The Tonight Show starring Jimmy Fallon is next. Start your day with Today in St. Louis at 4 a.m.